Yeah,
Oh, puts us right on the spot, this guy.
right on the spot, bro.
What in the Roger Pedactor is going on here?
Yo, what is that shirt you're wearing?
Ooh, me? Oh,
Is
it's
that a Big Lebowski?
a Big Lebowski. It's Asian themed. There's a company you probably seen them on. They were on Facebook all the time back when I had it. They just do the Asian like movie posters of like popular movies. There's like a
Oh,
Fight
okay.
one. There's like a Big Trouble in Little China one, but it's like the Japanese. You know.
If you go to like FYE or something, they have a ton of those like movie shirts, but with all like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like, writing and stuff on them.
Yeah.
I
So
always see the I
when
would
when
see
people ask
the
when people ask,
Halloween
I
one
tell
a
them
lot.
I've been to China. No, sorry. What did you say?
I said I see the Halloween one a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of popular. But no.
Welcome to episode 2 of the 3rd season.
I know, right?
It's the film section.
Welcome.
The film section.
The section of films. there's a there's a section, and there's definitely films here. Today we are talking about Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder version. The 2004 is when it came out, I want to say.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be talking about that because it is a remake that doesn't suck, and that's also our topic today, is remakes that do not suck. So, Mark, do you want to start off with it, or?
Yeah. So, Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. Who, at this point, saying his name is almost like Voldemort. It's like you don't want to say his name because you're gonna get a lot of the Zack Snyder stands going
Yeah.
crazy. Um, but this was the movie. This was his movie that people learned his name and were like, "Holy shit!" This
It
guy,
was universally liked at the
yeah,
time,
this guy
and I mean it still is now, but
yeah, this guy remade one of the greatest zombie movies ever. To a lot of people, it's considered the greatest, and he did a really good job with it. Like he made it his own, which I think is super important. Um, it was funny. I was telling my coworker today that we were going to talk about this, and he actually brought up a really good point as to why Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is so good. Is the original Dawn of the Dead, like, clearly Romero had like something he was trying to say, like he had a message behind that.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is just a high octane romp. Like it's a zombie
it
romp.
is chaos. The movie is just
It's
chaos.
just chaos. And it's
And
just
but
tons
I
of
mean,
fun.
it's the way it's done though. The way, and again, like nowadays, when you think of Zack Snyder, you think of like, oh, the Snyder cut. Oh, like this, Batman v Superman. Like his career wasn't tarnished, but it became very divisive after this.
Yeah, like
But
his name has become divisive.
but no one can argue because I mean, did this come out before or after 300?
Before,
After. Oh, it came. Oh, okay. So yeah, like just coming into this,
right? I'm
like
pretty sure
if
it
I
came.
had,
I
I
think
want to.
I think 300 came out like a year later.
Oh, okay.
Year or two maybe. I can't be quite sure. I
Well,
know it's after. It was definitely after.
2 years later, 300 came out in 2006.
There we go.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But I mean, any like studio who saw like Dawn of the Dead and saw how good it was afterwards would be like, okay, we have to hire this guy because he's an amazing director, especially of like high intensity, like big scale, big budget films. Because I mean, the his version of Dawn of the Dead seems huge. It's so huge in scale, like
Very,
especially compared to the first one, like especially
yeah.
the first act, the finale definitely.
Um, it is interesting when watching Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 is there's no real slow mo like Zack Snyder is known for, which really started with 300 was all the slow mo stuff.
It's not slow mo, but there is a very kind of slow but very awesome and payoffable action scene where the character CJ throws a one of his bombs, which is basically just a fucking just big thing of kerosene, like fucking.
Yeah, but that's actually
It's
like
not even slow motion, but it is that same kind of like he does
yeah,
it like super slow, but it's such a good payoff,
yeah.
to an already awesome action scene.
Yeah, like there is a reason, there is a very clear like stylistic reason why they would do that, like kind of slow mode a little bit. Whereas like when you watch some of his other movies, did he just leave? Um,
Wait, what?
when you watch some,
Chris
he's
just
still
fell
here.
asleep in the middle of the podcast.
Anyways, when you watch some of his other movies, there's so much slow mo that it's like calm down, dude. Like you don't need that much. So that is another reason why I just love Dawn of the Dead is because it's so fast paced, so much action that like
Very,
there
very
isn't really a lot of room to breathe, which is really fun, which makes it a lot more fun, I think.
Yeah, I mean the like you said, the original is like it's still like a great like movie, but the remake is great for very different reasons, and
Yeah.
because of those like reasons, I kind of like it like
I, I
a little
I
bit more.
like it a little bit more, but that is also because I did see Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead before I saw Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I think it was either this or 28 Days Later was the first one to really have the running zombies, which
Yeah.
was
Well, I
totally
think
different.
28 days later, but that didn't have the official zombie title to them.
Yeah.
Chris just sent me a message saying everything froze on him.
All right. Well, here, let me try and invite him back. But yeah, so it's like this was really like the first Dawn of the Dead movie that to me like made zombies scary. Like zombies were always like really cool, obviously. Like if you're a horror fan, zombies are just cool. But
Yeah,
this was the first time that like if I were to see one of those zombies coming at me sprinting full force, I'd be shitting my pants. Like I would be done.
yeah. I mean, like you said, it was in 28 Days Later first, technically, but these are. Oh, hey, hey,
Hey,
hey, it's me, your friend Corey. Welcome back to the podcast.
hello, I'm here. I don't know what happened there, but I'm back. It's weird.
Oh no, fuck, what were we talking about? Uh,
Fast zombies.
oh yeah, the fast zombies and like 28 Days Later, like they're their own thing, but they're actually nothing like these kind of zombies. This movie really like perfected like the whole fast zombie thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because like every time you see like the zombies in the original 28 Days Later, it's in like this super like hyper cut, and like you never see them clearly eat people. You can hear it and you can like see glimpses of it, but really not a zombie movie per se. This one, especially the director's cut, fucking insane amount of like on screen like horror like violence for you know uh
Just porn,
for
yeah, in
basically a
general.
fun horror movie.
I
It's such
mean,
a like it's I don't know what the budget was, but it looked beautiful.
I think this movie also has one of the best like openings for like a zombie movie or really, any kind of horror
Oh
movie
yeah,
in general.
the opening of that movie is pretty fucking insane. Like
The
it's like,
opening of that movie is
hey,
perfect.
Did
it's
you
like,
guys see
hey,
it in?
Dawn, credits, Dawn of the Dead, bang, 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 poo, poo,
That
chaos.
little girl is infected and
Yeah,
she
Well, that's one of the moments on the recent Shutter series, 101 Scariest Movie Moments. That like opening scene, because I mean they
pretty
nail it
great.
perfectly because it's you basically just go from this normal ass end of the shift of this nurse, she comes home, fucks her husband, and then they wake up the next morning and I forgot who it was who was talking about it on that show. Like said something like, "Yeah, it's not weird at all that your neighbor's daughter, has wandered into your house." And then because the guy's so cool about it, he like goes, he's like, "Oh, hey, what's wrong? What's going up?" uh, or he has like that attitude. But
Yeah. And then he
yeah,
gets
like
infected, and he's
it literally goes from 0 to 100.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it's
that
it's
that
actually
was
scary too, you know?
that was one of the things, the points of contention when that movie came out. Everyone was like, the zombies are running.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
They,
see at the
they want
time
him to be
people being a
slower.
little
At
bit
the
like, my
time,
zombies don't run. You know, I could definitely understand. And in 2004, when you're not used to seeing it, you would get
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of those like kind of like almost like zombie elitists being like,
Yeah.
it's Romero's like slow zombies or nothing.
I
It
mean,
could have.
as
Sorry,
long as they're not, as long as it doesn't look like World War Z, I'm totally fine with
Yeah,
whatever speed they want to go.
yeah. World
this
War Z is
they should make a fight movie, the zombies from World War Z versus the fucking alien from what's that movie called, Moonfall? Like, it's literally just like this like fucking cloud versus another cloud, only the cloud's made of zombies. Uh
And
yeah.
then the alien from Nope shows up.
Yeah.
uh,
Hey guys.
so is there a scene? I mean, Chris, you were the one that suggested this movie. So is there like a scene or a part of this movie that just like has always sort of stuck with you?
I mean, obviously the opening, we just talked about all that, but the scene with the scene with the baby,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. Like that
it's scary.
definitely,
It's scary.
like those are the two things that pop into my head when I think about, like, if I haven't watched it or anything, or someone wants to talk about it, it's the two, those are the two
Yeah,
things that pop into my head.
for sure.
Definitely.
100% agree with that. Mackay Pfeiffer's baby, little zombie baby.
Yeah.
It's so
Like
scary.
like like the characters though in this movie, like in the original movie, you have Ken Foree, who's probably the most likable character, the guy like you want to see like survive the most. Him and the I forget the lady's name in the original Dawn of the Dead.
I don't I don't ever remember any of their names in that
Yeah.
movie.
I remember Flyboy, but he like was
But
because a lot of the characters in
oh
that
wait,
like or at least half of
oh
them are pretty
what's
unlikable.
the other one? Harry Krishna zombie.
Yeah, yeah. But no, like this in this version though, like yeah, you have some unlikable characters, some real dildos, but they all do a real good job. But the thing and Mark could probably attest to it too, since he definitely prefers this one, is that it has more likable characters and it has like arguably like better characters in general.
Well, it feels like instead of it being really just following the three characters like it is in the original Dawn of the Dead, you have an entire group of people that have completely different ideologies towards this. You have
Yeah.
the security guards who are just complete pricks. You have our main character, the lead, who I can't remember what her name was.
Terrifying.
You have her, and you have is it Ving Rhames? Is the
Ving Rhames
The
plays
lead, the lead is the
uh,
lead is Sarah Polly.
Sarah
yeah.
Polly, yeah. Sarah Polly and Ving Rhames are very much like on the same side of it all.
Yeah,
And then this other guy, I can't, who like she kind of has some sort of flirtation with. And then you have Mackay Pfeiffer and his wife, who's pregnant, who he only cares about them three. So it is
yeah,
interesting that you have essentially three separate groups, three separate three separate groups of people who just want completely separate things out of all of this.
Yeah.
That all have to sort of come together, and then you also have their friend on the roof who's using zombie.
the signs.
Yeah, with the signs.
Forgot about that.
That guy again about likable characters because
Oh, he was awesome.
that guy seems awesome. Yeah, he doesn't actually he does when
The
he
zombies have
talks to
all
Ving Rhames on the walkie-talkie.
yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
watched
he
that
was
movie in
awesome.
so long. I totally forgot about that guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it, and it's so um like when you watch it in like HD or anything. I tagged Chris in this on Instagram that our timing of this episode really couldn't be better because a 4K was just announced of Dawn of the Dead. Um, and so I guarantee with that you're gonna see like the film grain, and you're gonna see a lot more of like the grit that is probably in this movie, because this is just, it's like a dirty movie. Not like in terms of like the content. I mean,
Well, it's a
zombies and blood, but
beautiful
like
like
it looks dirty.
it looks, but dude, like the outside shots and shit, like it's like beautifully shot. Like you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Like it looks like it looks like what would actually happen if this shit went down.
yeah.
Like because when it's like dark and gritty, like you said, it's like really fucking dark and gritty. But like
There's
the beginning scene essentially is like
there's way
kind
too
of
much stuff coming out on 4K. It needs it needs to calm down because
Why?
it needs to chill out.
I
I
love
don't
my.
make that much money, bro.
take
Well,
it down to 3.8K.
I saw I saw they're doing a Reservoir Dogs steelbook.
yeah, and Pulp Fiction is getting its
Pulp
4K.
Fiction, I just saw that too.
Paranorman, all the Paranorman and Coraline are getting, and Kubo
Steelbook.
are all getting 4K steelbooks this December. Um,
You're a
Why do they
Norman.
gotta be steelbooks too, dude? I fucking love steelbooks.
you're talking to me, dude. I just got Halloween Kills, The Fog, and Adam's Family 4K.
Do you have that Halloween one that's done by Todd McFarlane?
I
This
have
the cover art.
I have Halloween 2 and 3 Scream Factory. I have the Halloween 2018 one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see really quick.
If he has it, I'll know right away because Todd McFarlane's art is pretty distinct.
Pretty distinctive, yeah. Let's just say it stands out just a little bit. Just a little.
I do.
He's one of my favorite. Yeah, you do, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Hell
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I disagree. I peed on it earlier.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of steelbooks coming out, which I'm super excited for, because if I could, I would make my entire collection steelbook.
Guys, it's not a steelbook, but Vinegar Syndrome, they did their pre-sale for their Black Friday event, and they only had this for pre-order Friday, Saturday, and Sunday last week, and it was Roadhouse on 4K.
Vinegar Syndrome has a horror movie coming out on 4K soon. They just announced it.
They're in October. Well,
I can't remember what it was
technically, well, not technically yet, but in an hour,
when this comes out.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 4K.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
Dude, I'd say 80% of the movies I've bought in the last year have been from Vinegar Syndrome.
I'm like, most of my stuff is pretty much like either Scream Factory or Criterion, with like a lot of Arrow thrown in there too, but mostly Scream Factory more than anything else.
Most of my movies are DVDs from the 1990s and the early 2000s.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
They
Keep up
still
the good
work.
work.
I'm not kidding. You wouldn't believe it.
Well,
I just start
I've been
talking like Dahmer.
well, I've been buying some DVDs lately, but they've been like shows. Like I buy like
Oh yeah.
like television shows, because
Yeah.
those are like usually only in DVD unless you want like Friends or Seinfeld or something.
Like, you really need it.
Well,
Like,
yeah, there's like
where-
I used to have I have a VHS. It's a small ass shelf, but it's a VHS shelf. I have that now, but it used to have nothing but horror DVDs and Blu-rays on it, and I still have like most of them. But what do you call it though? They're all like there was a time when if you were short on cash or something, you can always like just sell them back to FYE. You know,
Oh, yeah.
how many times are you gonna rewatch fucking Child's Play 3 or like, you know,
Yeah.
The tattoo lady will fucking hook you up.
the tattoo like they're
Uh,
gonna open up another store like that and she's gonna be working there.
but
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
Dawn of the Dead. We got off on a bad
Oh
tangent
well.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
that was my fault.
there.
You like talking
With the
about everything.
tangent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it still counts. You know, with the film section, we're talking about movies that are in our quote unquote film sections. So it works.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, technically, we're all talking about movies still, tech.
yeah.
So
But were we gonna go on about other good remakes? Or at
oh
I
least,
mean,
well,
we can. I mean, is
what
there anything else we want to say about Dawn of the Dead before we kind of pivot here?
was there
uh,
anything else? Was there anything else that stuck out to you guys? That sticks out to you guys in this movie? Like how you asked me, like what scenes?
what scenes?
Um,
There's. Oh, sorry, you can go first.
well, no, I mean, I was just gonna say probably again, just the baby, like,
Oh, the
Yeah,
baby thing. Yeah,
pretty
even though
crazy.
it was CG, but like it was so well done, you didn't even really care.
Yeah, it was
Like
pretty
how
good.
like
The effects in the movie are
if it looked too realistic, it probably would have like taken a lot of people out of the movie.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said though, like just certain character scenes. I thought it was cool that the character CJ was a complete asshole in the beginning, and by the end of it, you just think he's kind of like awesome. Uh, but yeah, I mean, he ends up dying like most of the characters do. There's like a lot of like good asshole characters, or maybe just the guy from Modern Family. Uh,
that guy sucks.
yeah, dude, he's such a scumbag, dude.
Yeah.
But like there's not a lot of like unlikable characters in it, and even like the scene where the dude knows he's gonna die and Ving Rhames is waiting to shoot him.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense. Then it just goes into this weird cover of Down with the Sickness, like this jazz lounge cover or cover of it.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
Ah,
that.
Like
ah,
that,
ah,
yeah.
ah.
Like scenes like that, I think like I don't know, like for me, like personally, I think it's what makes it such an awesome movie. And I agree with Mark that it's I definitely enjoy watching this one more. Whether like whichever is a better movie, like I hate debating it, but like it's a more enjoyable movie. Still be like a downer in a few scenes, but like still yeah, very entertaining, like well done remake.
Yeah, the original Dawn of the Dead doesn't do too much to make you want to rewatch it. It's a big downer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exactly action packed
Like the
until
whole movie takes you.
finale.
It's like it
Well,
does
I
a
mean,
really good job of taking you for that ride, and you're like, man, I don't want to be on this ride. Like
Oh yeah.
this is terrible.
that I just said it's not action packed. Okay, it is action packed, but like it's packed with brutality. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like very well done done brutality. Like the police raid in the beginning that kind of sets off the initial story. That's actually
Yeah.
like a really it's not like super, but it's part of it almost kind of reminds me of like movies like The Raid, like kind of like reminded me that a little because it's like
Oh yeah,
people
it's
fucking
like
destroying each other, like
small
pure
indoor like project, and it's like
yeah.
fucking in space, and there's like a bunch of dudes in SWAT uniforms. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like scenes like that are like my favorite with that movie. Again, like there's more characters in the remake, so it kind of has an unfair advantage in that point. But like aside from Ken Foree and whoever played the lady, the lead character in that, like there's not a lot of likable characters in that. Because even the one dude who gets turned, like who gets bit on the leg, like is kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
a asshole.
Yeah. One what this movie does what this movie does right is that it takes it basically only took the element of the mall as the remake, like the mall and zombies obviously, but like
Yeah, there's no I mean, you can argue that Ken Foree and Ving Rhames, like their characters are supposed to mirror each other in a little bit because
sure,
they're very similar characters.
sure, but
Yeah. I know this movie because of Black.
They have two separate energies. Like both these movies have two different energies. And I think if you might have take the name off of the remake and give it a different name, and people would be like, "Oh, there's some comparisons here to Dawn of the Dead," but like, it's a remake, but not like beat for beat. Doesn't try to be the original, only updated for whatever year it is. You know what I'm saying?
He uses the frame of the original and creates
Yeah.
its own story with it.
It
So
doesn't
that's a
borrow. It
great
doesn't
idea.
borrow everything from the original movie and try to make it today. Like that's what I like about it. It's
It did the smart thing though, like, and it took place like in 2004 at that time, which is like perfect. I mean, the cell phones were still a thing, but it wasn't like nowadays where it's like if that situation happened, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is like a lot of media footage of what's going on, like a lot of
yeah,
like fast cuts and whatnot. But today it would be like completely different. I mean, what was it called? The Sadness kind of had a little bit of that to it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like this movie originated a lot of things that I think like, are still used today. So that's my closing thought on the Zack Snyder remake of Dawn of the Dead.
So we're gonna take it into our topic then. Taking it into the topic.
Yeah. Who wants to
Remake
start?
remakes done right.
And today I'm taking it in the topic. Wait. um Hold on, I made like a small list of shit that I actually like really liked. Are we going strictly with like horror remakes or just remakes in general?
Just remakes in general.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
one or yeah, one I guess I like I'm not a big Western fan. Like I don't like a lot of old Westerns like my dad really did, and he still like to this day, like he like fucking will like talk the shit out of like whatever like Western movies or like what new Western movies come out. But one movie that I agree with him like completely on is a movie called The 310 to Yuma. That's a remake of a Western from the 1950s, I want to say, 1960s. Like it's a remake of like an old one,
I like
but
the movie.
it's a really good movie. Um, what do you call it? It's basically Christian Bale. It's almost like a Western version of Midnight Run because what do you call it? Christian Bale's former soldier who lost his leg and has like a gimp leg. Um, and he's transporting Russell Crowe and his gang. Russell Crowe's gang, led by Ben Foster, I think that's his name. Like he's the
Yeah,
like leader of like them, and it's basically them chasing them and Christian Bale trying to get Russell Crowe to you know to prison basically. But it's very character driven, and I think that's a remake that's done absolutely right. Uh, yeah,
yeah.
so
I like that movie too.
yeah, it's a really good movie.
Mm.
Um, One movie that comes to mind is is actually 13 Ghosts. Um, because I love William Castle movies. Like I think like 13 Ghosts and Tingler and House on the Haunted Hill are just they're all so much fun. Um, and then watching 13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard is just such a joy. That movie is fun, it's scary, it's intense. I want to know more. Like, there's been so many people on Facebook and Instagram that are like, if they made a Netflix series about just the 13 ghosts and did like a backstory on all of them, would
Yeah,
totally watch it.
that'd be
The
awesome.
movie looks cool. The house that they're in with all changing walls and shit is fucking dope. Like the character designs of these ghosts are just more and more. The next one is more terrifying than the last one. Um, yeah, despite its many flaws, because the movie is far from perfect, but it's so much fun. It's a really good, light, scary movie that if like if you have a friend that doesn't really like scary movies, but like kind of wants to get a little scared for like the Halloween season or something, 13 Ghosts is definitely the one that you put on. And it's so much better than the William Castle movie. So much better.
Well, I mean, it like you said though, there's not a single like ghost in that movie that isn't fucking awesome. Like to look at, each one is unique.
Hmm.
One of them I think especially, you'll know it when you see it if you haven't seen the movie, is fucking insane to look at. Like it's when you first see it, it's freaky as fuck because it's basically a dude whose like head is chambered up, like, and it's like there's wind blowing, like blowing his hair back, and he's like, ah! Like he,
Yeah.
you know, he almost looks like the corpse from Seven if it like got incarcerated or something afterwards. Uh, yeah, that's an awesome movie. I think absolutely agree.
I'll I'll go with the thing.
Okay.
The thing,
Yeah.
which I'm not gonna lie, I've never really seen the original, but I don't think it matters because the thing is on a whole fucking another level.
Yeah.
Well, the original one, like I saw it a long time ago, but like it's very much one of those movies. Like, hey, chap, we found a flying saucer. No, there's an alien running around. Better watch out for that. He's a bad egg.
I will say one of my favorite things about like the original The Thing is they build up the thing for so much of the movie in the smartest way where everyone's opening a door throughout the movie. Like a door is constantly being opened. And so like subconsciously in your mind it's like someone opens the door, you're just kind of more and more conditioned to think like, yeah, it's fine. There's gonna be nothing there. And then when they do open it that one final time and it's standing there, it's just really clever filmmaking.
That's like one of the original jump scares though too.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, the John Carpenter's The Thing obviously eclipses the original.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that it wasn't popular when it first came out either.
Yeah, I don't get that at all because like the effects were still like groundbreaking for that time. It's not a dull story like at all. Like it's character driven and it's pretty dialogue heavy, but that's necessary for its like can't trust or blah, 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 can't trust anybody plot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's like you said, it's a way better movie.
Yeah. So hold on one second.
All right. All right. Corey, you're up again.
Yeah, Corey.
You are being recorded. What do you call it? One I actually think is kind of an underrated remake, but it's not as like iconic as the first one, which is a lot of what the first one had going for it. It's one of the first movies of its kind, but this movie still did a very good job of like having the same spirit as that movie. Is the remake of The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Fede or Fede Alvarez
Fede
directed it. It was like his first. That's one that I think did a really good job of like it doesn't have the lighter moments that the first one did. But it's like
it's fucking straight frightening.
Yeah.
It's a much more like downbeat, like
a very distressing movie.
The first Evil Dead was a straight horror movie pretty much.
Yeah, it absolutely was, but at least Evil Dead, it still had humor to it. It still had like that too. This movie is humorless. There is not like a single
there's nothing funny
joke made in that movie. I mean, but it works to the movie's benefit because it's very grim, like the first Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, I actually like that one a lot.
Yeah,
I love the remake. Saw the remake in theaters, dude. It was awesome. It was so intense. Yeah, it's just like it is very just like the word I use for it is just distressing because there's once it starts,
it's
it doesn't stop. Like the scary in that movie. Once the scary starts, it does not stop.
yeah, and it gets like inventive in how fucked up it gets too.
Yeah, and it gets more fucked up as it goes.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
still
So
fucks a demon with a chainsaw.
yes, well, I mean, like
Demons
it lives
skull
up to the
fucked
original
with
in that.
chainsaws in this movie.
Like I'm never gonna argue with somebody like over which is a better movie. It's like, come on, they're several decades apart. It's
Which
like,
one had a demon get skull fucked? I don't.
yeah.
I think the remake
Well,
did. I don't think the original did.
again, but the original had Bruce Campbell, like,
The original had a woman being fucked by trees. Okay.
yeah. Oh, and a pencil going through somebody's fucking Achilles
Yeah. That
tendon there.
well, in the remake they did they had like the syringe or something go like right
Oh, with
there.
the eye. Oh,
And it's scary what people survive
Well,
in
that
that
one
type
poor
of movie
dude,
too.
that
they
poor
get
dude with the
They get
glasses,
fucked
dude,
up.
he gets the shit kicked out of him for 90 minutes and then finally turns.
And
yeah.
unfortunately, all I could think of when I watched X was the character who was the director looked exactly like that
Yeah.
guy. Identical.
Fucking Kurt Cobain Jr.
Yeah.
Call that motherfucker.
Randy Cobain.
I'm trying to think of another remake. Um, hmm. Chris, do you have one? I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
it off the top of my head, but I'm.
It's not like fantastic or anything, but I do like. I don't know if they recognize it as a remake, but the Silent Night movie,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
the
I
one,
mean, it definitely lives up to the spirit of the original.
yeah. I don't. It doesn't really. I don't think it really takes anything from the original except for a killer in the Santa suit. Um, but the kills in it are pretty great, and it's not a bad watch. Like, it's not a fucking great movie, but it
No,
is. It's worth a watch.
it's
I've
definitely a
watched it
fun
once.
movie.
I think it's
Not
decent.
one thing it's not is not a boring movie.
No, no,
Which not to shit on the original Silent Night, Deadly Night is like I can definitely appreciate it,
no
but
one, no one gets
I
put
think
to
it's kind of a
work
boring
in this
movie.
movie.
You know, this movie
Um,
is not boring for a second.
all
And
right.
has an awesome Donald Logue monologue.
Yeah, Donald Logue in the house. Love that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, hell yeah, dude.
So I guess it is a remake. It's a remake of like the first three uh movies, but the 2009 Friday the 13th
Oh,
uh
okay, yeah, yeah,
is I think is awesome. It's really good. If you're a Friday the 13th fan, this literally has everything you would want.
yeah. I mean, that's what I don't get. Like even Roger Ebert, who scathed
And
the original Friday the 13th, gave
No,
this
you're
one
not a
like
fan of the 2009 Friday the 13th?
you go to hell.
You don't like it?
You go to hell.
no. Oh no
This is
no. Oh, sorry. I think my shit got cut out or something because I meant to say the critic who gave fucking the original Friday the 13th, Roger Ebert, uh fucking gave the original like a scathing review, but this one he was like he didn't give it a good review, but I think it was like 2 or 2.5 stars, and he's like, well, if you like this shit, then like
I
you're
mean,
bound to like
if you
you're bound
like
to
the
like it.
Friday the 13th movies, if you like seeing teens get chopped up, if you like
Yeah,
good gore effects,
it's got awesome kills in it. It really
yeah.
does. Um,
there's one scene, and then the rest of the movie is a pile of shit. The only good thing from this movie is the guy that played Jason. He did a really, really good job. I thought that he did a fantastic job playing Jason, but other than that,
Derek
wow,
Mears.
what a
Really?
pile of shit.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, that dude's awesome in everything he's in. He was Pluto from the Hills Have Eyes remake too. He's been in like a ton of stuff. He has like a really distinctive look.
He was Swamp Thing in that one season of Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. fucking he looked fucking amazing in that. Like he's one of those dudes who like looks awesome in like, whatever prosthetics they give him.
There's not one person in that movie that I like. Everyone's a fucking asshole.
Well, yeah.
Like literally everyone. There's not like there's like always that final person. You're like, all right, I'll get on board. But like they're like I don't even like Jared Padalecki.
Well, Jared Padalecki's like has like that because him and like the other dude from that paranormal show both starred in like
Remakes.
from they were and both end up turning out pretty good. But they both still have like
I
that.
didn't hate that movie either. I like but Friday the 13th, man, I wanted it to be good. The kills were good.
Kills were good.
The guy that
But
played
not like you said, not I would say not like super well developed characters, but neither was the original either.
Yeah.
that
I mean,
opening.
since when has a
like,
Friday the 13th
people-
movie been focused on character development?
That
At
opening.
best, they're
Hey.
likable.
Shut up. Character development. What about
There's-
Shelley? His character was developed.
Shelley didn't deserve it.
Tommy
was just-
Jarvis.
He was just misunderstood. Yeah, Tommy Jarvis. Yeah.
The one thing that really bothered me about this movie was like his fucking underground lair. That bothered me.
That's from part 2, though.
He just had a jet.
But this was like an
What's the
intricate
fucking-
like underground.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Dude, in
lot
part
more-
two,
bus bullshit.
dude, in part 2 though,
You look
it's
like my mama.
it's like a homemade shack.
Yeah.
So like it's different. Like I think it's different in that way. Like the shack in the part 2 looks like a fucking vagrant has been living there for the last like however many years. And the one in part 2 just looks like it almost looks like the underground tunnels from like I think like Wolf Creek 2 or something like or Leprechaun 2.
I guess the story with like holding the girl hostage, like
because she looked like his mom.
Jason doesn't give a fuck who you are. You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they take some liberties, but I definitely think it's a really like fun Friday the 13th.
Yeah, like, I just think it's fun.
It's definitely in like my top
That opening,
like, 5
the
of those.
the opening's fucking
It's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, it's
Oh,
perfect.
dude,
Yeah, it's great.
It Here's the thing. I gotta ask though, like, because I've heard people ask this on fucking message boards. Was Jason the one growing the weed? Because it was growing in his like fucking. Well, dude, like he was clearly like hunting there. The lady even says like we don't go up there because that's where he like
That's where he
resides.
He doesn't
Well,
take
'cause-
kindly to people who don't take kindly.
You
out
can't
here.
crystal kush, bro.
Brother.
I always kill better when I got some of that devil weed in me.
Corey, it's your
Smoking that Freddy Krueger pack.
Smoking that. Give me some of that sweet weed, dude. What do you call it? Oh, this is one that it came out. I almost said it came out recently, but it's like well over a decade old now. But it's a fun movie. It's a remake of a Joe Dante movie that came out in the 70s that was like, but like still entertaining. It's a movie called Piranha 3D, I think, which is a fun little horror remake.
Very fun.
It takes the original has like some decent effects, some decent like aftergore in it. Like it's kind of low budget for its time, but this movie is fucking it basically does what Dawn of the Dead like with that remake did. It is like just amp the action up to like 100, and same thing with like the pure insanity of it and the pure like it has such a dark sense of humor. What's his face? He was the fat kid from Stand By Me. Sorry, I'm trying to think of his name. Jerry O'Connell, when he gets his dick bitten off, and then they just show it like floating around in 3D. Yeah, like shit like that. Just like
the boat like bottom.
you can always like argue like, okay, we're not gonna try to be better than the movie that we're remaking, but we can be a lot like more fun with it. Like, that's always a great approach. Like fucking 21 Jump Street did that. Like it was just so like
Pretty sure
fucking
they
like
I'm
hilariously
pretty sure they approached it much like the original. It's like, all right, we're about to make a movie about mutant killer fish.
yeah.
Let's just have fun.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's the idea is like absurd. Like so let's just have fun with it and they fucking ran with it, man. The original like is it's a pretty fun movie.
It,
Like
it
for the time.
it's probably the original is probably one of the better movies to come out of like people trying to capitalize on Jaws.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Piranha's
One of the better Jaws knockoffs.
yeah.
Actually, I think that like this and that movie, Alligator, I think were like that came out like around a similar time, are both like pretty good.
Yo, Alligator's pretty fucking sweet, dude. I actually watched that not that long ago. It's on Shutter. Alligator 1 and 2 are on Shutter.
I watched it on YouTube, like I think during the quarantine because it wasn't available, like even on Amazon Prime for the
Oh
longest time.
wow.
Like yeah, that's a really fucking fun movie. But they've if you haven't seen the original of Piranha, it's very similar to that kind of in tone.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
there is a good amount of like chaos and carnage in it, but it's still like a very like leveled movie. This
Hmm?
movie, the remake, Piranha 3D, is like the most fucking one of the most like out there fucking like horror shows you will like ever see. It's very over the top. There's
Another
a
one
lot
with
of like
another one with Ving Rhames in it.
yeah, yeah. Ving Rhames knows how to score remakes. Except for Day of the Dead. What do you call it though? But yeah, dude, the fucking especially the scene in it where the piranha attack like that whole like summer beach or fucking summer beach like that whole spring break like fucking like party like float shit going on that they
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like a massacre basically. Like that whole thing, it's like it's brilliantly done. Yeah, so that would be another one of my inclusions to it.
It's me or Mark.
I'm gonna break a cool
You
break
can,
a
Well,
you can go.
cool stick in half and be like, I
Mark,
don't know.
Mark, are you dead?
No, I'm pointing at you, bro.
I can't see you. That's why.
Yeah, we
Oh,
gotta
Um,
see each other.
uh, I'm gonna go with a non-horror movie. I know that's crazy. I actually like the Romeo and Juliet one from like the '90s with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah, Romeo plus
Dude,
Juliet, bro.
is it weird, dude? I saw that in the theaters.
No, it's
Yeah.
not weird. It's a fucking
Well,
fantastic
well,
movie.
my older sister was the one that took me to movies, so she ended
Okay,
up.
that's fair. That's fair.
But I ended up. It's a
Dude,
good movie. Like it's a
this
good
is
like
awesome. And it's got Rufio in it.
Rufio. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of a cool idea, like to do what he did, like in terms of like bringing it to modern day LA, but basically being like the same story.
Yeah.
Uh, the the dialogue isn't too hard to follow. Like I've never been a Shakespeare guy, so like the
I
whole
mean,
like
if you really like, it was something I had to get used to. Like, obviously, when you're going to high school, every year you go out, you're in English, you do a different Shakespeare book.
yeah.
Like, I just have to like, I don't know, have to read through all that fancy English to be like, yeah, he's just saying he's gonna fuck this bitch. Like, he's in love with her. He loves her, and no family's gonna stop him from getting his girl, and vice versa. And I don't know. The more I think, the more like at first, I think Romeo and Juliet, it was like Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet was like the first Shakespeare I had to read in school, and at first I hated it, but then like when I got to understand it more, like was able to understand it more, I was like, oh, all right, I guess I understand why we're learning about this.
Well, if you have a good teacher in English class in high school, then yeah, I like
Also
definitely
helps.
appreciate some of his shit.
Also very helpful, yes.
I'm not a huge fan of like William Shakespeare, but I definitely like respect what he brought in. That I always like whenever it's weird. So like whenever I think of William Shakespeare, I think of that you ever see a movie like that came out? It's a remake in its own right called 10 Things I Hate About You with Heath Ledger and like Joseph
Yes.
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, duh.
Well, dude, he's like, there's a scene in it though where like this girl's obsessed with William Shakespeare, and that one dude who's like in a million movies, who plays like the side friend or whatever, like walks up to her and he's like, "Why is he wearing that collar? Is that so he doesn't lick his stitches?" That like shit like that is like what always sticks to me about William Shakespeare. That's another good little Shakespeare remake is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said though, it's still like a really entertaining movie.
For
You,
sure.
heard like of Romeo and Juliet, like it does a good job like updating shit. It's
I
like
mean, is
guns
it
guns are now swords, but
I mean, is it funny that they all speak that way in modern day Los Angeles? Sure.
yeah.
But it's a fun movie. It's pretty fun and it's pretty
It's
good.
energetic as fuck. It's got
Yeah,
like a great look, like all Baz Luhrmann movies.
Baz Luhrmann for sure. Let's go. Mark.
Um, the next remake that I can think of is probably a little divisive, but is the 2018 Suspiria remake. Um,
Oh, okay.
I I love Suspiria. Dario Argento's Suspiria is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Like it's definitely in my top five probably horror movies of all time.
Yeah,
Um,
Sophie too.
yeah, Sophie's too.
Yelling
And
about it. She's like,
I
tell me more
love
about Suspiria.
He's a
um,
hack.
but yeah. So when I first heard that there was gonna be a remake, um, I saw the trailer. I was super excited. Saw that Chloe Grace Moretz was gonna be in it. Tilda Swinton, Dakota Johnson, Mia Goth, all are in it. And they're amazing. Like Tilda Swinton plays like three separate characters,
Yeah,
in the movie, and it's it's long and to some people probably very slow and very boring because Argento's Suspiria is so colorful and bright and like bombastic, whereas this remake is everything's kind of gray looking, like everything is very muted tones. Um, but the sound design, the acting is incredible. When shit does pop off, it gets very disturbing very quick.
yeah, and they all wear red bondage rope.
Yeah, they all do that. Um, but there's like one scene in particular where like Dakota Johnson is like dancing, meanwhile this other girl is like trapped inside of a mirror room, and as
Oh
Dakota
yeah,
Johnson is
She
dancing,
gets
this girl's body
distorted
starts like
basically.
twisting and contorting.
yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah, and it's so good, and it's one of the remakes where it's like you can if you're someone that's like I like horror ballerina movies, it's like watch Black Swan, Suspiria, and Suspiria. Like watch those three movies, and
The,
it's
the
awesome.
trilogy.
None of them
I
feel the same.
I like I like the Suspiria remake. Just maybe it could have been a little shorter.
A little bit, yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was
It
pretty great.
Yeah, it
I
didn't feel like didn't really feel like a Giallo, like it was trying to like go for like the whole Giallo thing that the
Yeah, it
original
definitely
did.
could
wasn't.
have could have
Which
easily taken the route of making everything look like cheap colors and
yeah.
bullshit, but it didn't. I
No.
mean,
Like
it stuck to the story, but did its own thing because I don't remember anybody getting all fucking contorted in the original Suspiria like that. That was a pretty disturbing fucking scene, dude.
I
Yeah.
mean, as gory as the original Suspiria is, my favorite scene in it is when like you see like that like possessed like demon like monster lady like behind the curtain like holding the knife, and she just like comes towards her like that's like my favorite part of the original Suspiria. Like
Did you guys
yeah,
did
I
you
can
guys
appreciate
the
it.
boots to reboots? Did you guys see the boots to reboots out now?
Yeah,
Suspiria.
yeah, I just watched it the other day.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It was great.
I thought it was fair.
Yeah, but I definitely was more entertained by the remake. I mean, not like I was more like kind of fucked up by the original Suspiria, but definitely more like entertained and like disturbed and like more cinematic or not cinematic. I don't know, more like in a fun movie like way. I guess by I mean, you know what I mean.
I don't.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a disturbing movie, but in like a different kind of way. It doesn't go for the same like
Yeah,
type of
like the original Suspiria feels very much just like a nightmare or like a wild ass fever dream, whereas the 2018 is a very cohesive story and it's very
Yeah, yeah.
easy to
That's what I
follow.
mean. It's more, yeah, it's easier to.
Also, you know, if
That's what I meant
Easier to
by
watch.
fun. Like it's not a fun movie, but it's
if you show up to a ballerina school in a different country and Udo Kier is hanging out, you should
yeah.
probably get the fuck out of there.
He likes to watch.
Um, so so let's do one more movie each.
Oh fuck,
So
Corey,
me.
save
Okay,
us.
my list.
I gotta think. I don't write things down.
Oh,
Oh, I got one. Go
I
ahead.
got.
But
Oh no, the Blob, the
oh,
1980. I want either 1987 or 1988. That
88.
remake. Oh, yeah. I that's one like again like takes the similar premise, but just fucking amps everything up the same way like Piranha 3. It's kind of like the Piranha 3D of its time, minus the minus all the tits and nudity. Um, but it's very like violent compared to the first one. It's very like gory. It's very much like a body horror kind of movie. It's got awesome characters. It's a very fun movie. So that's yeah, I'd say I'd go with that one. I'm gonna say like remakes done right. So
All right. In that same vein, because right before you said yours, I was like, I got one, but you were going, but I
yeah.
was, but I'll wait. The Fly.
Oh hell yeah. David Cronenberg version.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean
dude.
it's by all accounts a better movie.
Oh,
Like, you know,
absolutely.
like
But
to be able to be able to take a property like that and just kind of make your own thing with it, that's not only completely different but completely better is, you know.
and completely disgusting. Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's if you want to call movies interesting, like the it's probably like compared to the original, the most interesting remake ever.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
there's so much more going on. Because I've seen like clips of the original. It's basically just like you know a guy's head on like the fly's body. Yeah. Um. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Fucking the fly. You know. Uh. One of David Cronenberg's still one of his best. Yeah.
Mark, Mark, hit us with your last one.
Well, it shouldn't really surprise anyone, but since
Oh,
it's a readaptation, I'm still going to consider it a remake.
it's an A24 film.
It's 2017's It.
Oh hell yeah.
That
Okay.
definitely
And
doesn't surprise me.
for me, I will include chapter 2, but for you guys I won't.
I like chapter two. I really you know,
Fine until
dude.
that,
I think if you're a
like,
fan of
the
the book,
ending where they bully him to death.
But for this I'm specifically talking about chapter 1. It's so good, and like we said last week, it's basically this generation's Goonies. Um, it's so good. It's a movie that in 20 years people are still going to be talking about, and people are still going to love and have fun with. And every fall, Halloween season, anytime, I think summer starts, people are gonna watch this movie, and anytime fall starts, people are gonna watch it. Um, I understand I am extremely biased because it is just my favorite Stephen King story ever, but
Oh yeah.
it's such a good movie. And I love the 1990 miniseries. I watched that. I've probably watched the 1990 miniseries more than the 2017 remake, but it's
Well, I mean,
so
it
good.
it was like a household name enough at the time. Like it had the perfect timing, like to come out.
Mm,
Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, at that time, like we were like running out of like big name horror characters, and everybody knew like it was a TV movie, but everybody knew who Pennywise was.
yeah,
Like everybody,
yeah.
and they nailed like a cool new look for him. They got the perfect actor to like portray him. All like the
Mhm.
kids were like perfect in their roles. So yeah,
It's
that's
definitely
absolutely like a
it's
classic.
definitely good. It's definitely good that they got it right. Because people mention like franchise characters, like everybody's gonna say Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Ghostface first, but in that circle of characters, like I'd say in a top 10 franchise characters, everyone says Pennywise. Pennywise is in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah. I mean, Pennywise is he is the ultimate scary clown. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, you have Art, who's new, who's kind of the new scary clown, who's awesome from Terrifier and everything.
oh yeah, yeah.
You have the bald clown mannequin from Hell House LLC that's getting a little bit more popular now. But I mean, Pennywise is
Pennywise has been the only icon we've had.
yeah, Pennywise
Yeah,
is truly an icon.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good word for him. Um, but yeah, I just you know, on that note, I just want to say that I love remakes. I support remakes. Sometimes they're shitty and that sucks, but there are still a lot of good remakes as we've clearly stated.
I think
Um,
they've gotten better with them as time went on.
yeah, I think it's the remakes that are the best are the ones that do their own thing, but clearly still have that love and admiration for the original source material. Um, and I think, in all the movies that we've said, the best ones are the ones that went and did their own things, but still really respected the source. So yeah.
Like the Black Christmas 2019 remake.
Yo, fuck Black Christmas. I was hoping none of us were gonna mention that. I was really hoping no one was gonna say that.
I guarantee you, I will never mention it ever.
Uh,
I tried to watch it, dude. Everybody shit on it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it.
It's
I
yeah,
tried.
ass.
I
that's
couldn't even make it through it. I couldn't even
So
make it
bad.
through it.
that's for a video called Remakes Not Done Right.
Yeah. Which I'm sure we will get to. We will get to our shitty remakes. Um,
Yes.
but
I,
yeah, on that note, this was season 3, episode 2. Next week we are talking about The Burbs, one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies. I fucking love this movie.
I love that movie also.
And the topic is going to be movies that kind of teeter on what I call the Ghostbusters line, which is when is a movie more horror versus comedy? Um,
Also, our second Corey Feldman movie we're
Dude, I
covering.
own that same copy, the Shout Factory Select copy. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to anyone that is watching, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/the film section. And see you guys next week.
Go see Barbarian.
Yes.